natin na alam na niya yung sasabihin niya, mabilis yung labas, pero masakit. Maangas at saka mayroon nga mga language doon that kumbaga not safe for work. Hindi NSW. And hindi na niya sinusugarcoat. Inaano na niya, ginagawa na niya na kumbaga calling a spade a spade. It was very clear that she was not going to pussyfoot or sugarcoat. She intended to say exactly what she wanted to say. And masakit. For the first time, nakikita natin yung escalate. Pero ito yung kailangan natin pansinin. The moment na nag-resign siya from the Department of Education, nakita natin na bumalik siya dun sa dati. Yung kanyang dating expressions, dahan-dahan nang bumabalik. Yung kanyang, even yung intonation niya, yung kanyang prepared speeches niya, they were more Sara Duterte now rather than a member of the Marcos cabinet. Hindi ko alam kung napansin niyo yon, pero para sa akin kapansin-pansin yan. Even yung gayak niya was more Sara Duterte rather than trademark BBM, kumbaga Marcos administration branding.
Tugon itong Young Guns dito at nag-reply itong si VP Sara. Doon muna sa unang press briefing, ma'am, na naging matapang yung naging mga pahayag ng pangalawang Pangulo. Ano pong masasabi niyo po doon, Attorney?
Sa unang press conference?
Bago itong reply niya.
Well, alam niyo yung kasabihan na pagpasensyoso yung tao, huwag mong uubusin. Huwag mong itutulak hanggang doon sa punto na ubus yung pasensya. Kasi usually pag mahaba ang PC, malakas yung kabog at the end of it. So ganun nga po ang nangyari with the Vice President. Marami po siya as an insider, marami siyang nalalaman at marami siyang insights dun sa pagpapatakbo ng administrasyon na ito. Maliwanag na ang kitang-kita niya ang failings nito at kumbaga she was willing to work. Kita naman natin, willing naman siya to work from the beginning, kaya lang at some point hindi rin siya tinigilan na. Nung una, ito ay saksi ako dito, alam namin na umpisa pa lang, hindi nila kayang tiisin si VP Inday at alam namin na may mga plano sila ang sa mga taga Davao. Okay? Hindi lang ako privy dun sa mga detalye ng mga ito. So, we knew that she wasn't in for an easy time. Sa umpisa lang po talaga mangyayari yon. And things have gotten so bad na alam natin na hindi na rin siya, kumbaga naaantala na ang kanyang trabaho, nag-resign na siya sa Department of Education where she was doing a lot of good work. So, ito na po ang umpisa. Kumbaga, kung ang administrasyon ay pumipitik pa lang sila kay VP Inday, ang pushback medyo malakas. Understatement yan of the year. So, kumbaga, para sa akin, popcorn moment ito Kasi you push one person too far and at some point, you will reap the whirlwind, kumbaga.
Ang kapansin-pansin, yung tugon po ng mga kaalyado ng administrasyon ay hindi doon sa mismong issue, doon sa parang description, yung parang expression ng pangalawang Pangulo sila, nakakonsentrate at doon nila tinitira, sabi nila na mental health. Pero hindi yung issue kasi naalala ko doon sa press briefing, sabi nga ni VP Sara sa mga nanonood ng mga magulang, kung meron kayong anak na nanonood, bigyan niyo ng konteksto. Kumbaga doon sa konteksto dapat nakakonsentrate pero parang hindi doon nakakonsentrate yung mga kaalyado ng administrasyon.
Yes, kumbaga, I apologize. Di ko narinig yung last part. Sorry po.
Yung kasi
yung last part na,
yung sa kasi 'di ba, meron siyang binabanggit ng mga expression niya doon at pinapalalahanan niya yung mga magulang, kung meron mga nanonood na mga bata, nabigyan ng konteksto, no? Kasi parang sa mga Bisaya kasi masyadong maano din sa mga expression kumbaga, pero yung issue mismo na pinag-uusapan dapat doon nakatutok. Parang kagaya din ito
Correct.
sa tatay niya dati na pag may PI siya, doon nakakonsentrate yung mga balita. Hindi doon sa mismong kung ano siya, saan ba siya nagalit at nabigkas niya yung kanyang expression po, attorney.
Yes, nakikita natin na alam niyo naman si VP Inday, normally kalmado yan. And very formal, magsalita at contemplative. Bawat salita niya, pinag-iisipan. Kahit panoorin mo lang dun sa ordinary niya na excuse me,
Mhm.
ordinary niya, excuse me, sandali lang po. Meron
Oo,
yan.
okay lang.
So, in the ordinary course of her speeches, nakikita mo nag-iisip siya. Either prepared yung speech niya o pinag-iisipan niya every word that comes out of her mouth. Pero dito, nakikita natin na alam na niya yung sasabihin niya, mabilis yung labas, pero masakit. Maangas at saka mayroon nga mga language doon that kumbaga not safe for work. Hindi NSW. And hindi na niya sinusugarcoat. Inaano na niya, ginagawa na niya na kung kumbaga calling a spade a spade. It is very clear that she was not going to pussyfoot or sugarcoat. She intended to say exactly what she wanted to say. And masakit. For the first time, nakikita natin nag-escalate. Pero ito yung kailangan natin pansinin. The moment na nag-resign siya from the Department of Education, nakita natin na bumalik siya dun sa dati. Yung kanyang dating expressions, dahan-dahan nang bumabalik. Yung kanyang, even yung intonation niya, yung kanyang prepared speeches niya, they were more Sara Duterte now rather than a member of the Marcos cabinet. Hindi ko alam kung napansin niyo yon, pero para sa akin kapansin-pansin yan. Even yung gayak niya was more Sara Duterte rather than trademark BBM, kumbaga Marcos administration branding. So ngayon, this is vintage Inday, yung sa kanyang sa kanyang press conference. Ito po yung Inday na kilala natin, yung Inday na bago siya umakyat bilang vice-presidente, ito yung mayor ng Davao City who could speak freely and had her own, kumbaga, yung kanyang sariling style. Walang nag-uutos, wala siyang sinusundan, hindi siya nakikibagay. So ako, parang for me it's good to see her back in her old form. At ito pong press conference niya, this is Angry Inday, but still the very real Inday. Kung miyembro pa siya ng Marcos cabinet, wala kang maririnig na ganyan sa kanya. And ang dami niyang truth bombs. Di ba? Alam ko yung pakiramdam ng ganyan hindi ka na required na mag-conform to particular Marcos brand or to speak in a certain way para mag-avoid ng controversy. Dito, she was running headlong into controversy. Wala siyang pakialam. And I liked it because ito na naririnig natin ang katotohanan na nanggagaling sa kanya.
Opo. Ma'am, anong tingin niyo doong sinabi ni VP Inday na she's got nothing to lose, hindi siya mabayaran, walang ayuda, walang pera makapagbibili, at for the first time daw, tahimik walang nagsasalita from the government. Lahat, yes lahat Siya ngayon ang sumalungat sa mga pulisiya ng administrasyon.
Well, I think she was reacting to the term na desperada daw siya. And ang dami kasing batikos, karamihan nang gagaling sa mga kawani ng Kongreso, sa ating mga kongresista. At merong mga aspersions tungkol sa kanyang soundness of mind. At yun na nga, for some reason lumabas yung term na desperada, which I found quite unusual. So, parang pinapaalala niya, she wants to put them in place and she succeeded. Sinabi niya, siya, desperada, she's the vice president. She has nothing to lose. Diba? Kasi, how can you remove her from her position? Impeachment lang yan, and that would take a lot of resources. Kumbaga, anything that they toss at her, she can toss right back. And this time, wala na siyang boss. Hindi, like I said, hindi na siya kailangan makibagay sa Marcos administration. And therefore, nothing to lose. walang magagalit sa kanyang boss. Walang magsasabi sa kanya, o kailangan ganito gawin mo. O, ano. They've done the worst to her. Binawasan yung kanyang budget, binawasan yung budget ng OVP. Parang kumbaga nililimita yung capability niya na makapag-ikot and so on. Ano pang pwedeng mawala sa kanya? Wala na. And so now, she can actually speak her mind. Sa kaka-oppress nitong mga ito sa kanya, they inadvertently freed her to be able to call them out, call them whatever she wants. Kasi ano ba naman ang mawawala sa kanya? Also, remember that she is a heartbeat away from the presidency. Awayin man nila ng awayin, what if something happens that the president can no longer continue with his mandate or his duties as such? The vice president takes over at iba na po ang laro pag ganyan. Kumbaga, tingnan natin kung sino sa kanila iiyak. And my bet is it's not going to be VP Inday.
Opo, ma'am. In this great age, ma'am, of information divide, sino po, ma'am, sa tingin ninyo ang nanalo sa pagpapaabot ng mensahe sa taong bayan? Yung nakuha talaga, no, ng taong bayan ng mensahe. Ang nakasa administrasyon o yung mga tinuran? Kanino mas nakaka-relate, ma'am, yung masa?
Well, syempre, kasi ang administration, they have to choose their words. Sino ba yung nagsasalitang masa, salitang naiintindihan ng masa? Kumbaga, kung she wanted to convey her rage, nako, message received yan. Maliwanag na maliwanag yung galit niya at maliwanag na maliwanag kung ano yung source niyan. She did not bother to sugarcoat anything. Sinabi niya talaga, ito ang ginagawa ninyo sa akin. I would have not. Plus, in the press conference, she made it absolutely clear. Kailangan siya ng mga Marcos in order to win. She did not need them. In fact, she didn't even need to run for president. It was not her intention to begin with. It was not even her intention to run for vice president. Kinunbinsi lang siya ni Senator Amy, and she ran to help them out. That was the primary purpose here. So yung mga attempts to downplay her role, kumbaga, in the administration and to downplay her power, ay nagkakamali silang ganon. And ang masama niyan is they forced her to say it. They forced her to come out with the truth and tell everybody that, teka muna, kaya nga ako nandito was to help out this administration. And otherwise, hindi yan nakaupo. So yun, it's out there. Andiyan na yan. Yung kumbaga, wala nang, nobody can second guess anymore and say, and try to gaslight us by saying na wala naman talagang power yan and so on. Her power was that she put this president in his place and she is still doing it. So, nilagay niya sa posisyon, pero ngayon, pinapaalala niya, wala ka kung wala kami.
Ma'am, anong tingin niyo doon sa rhetoric ni VP Sara, doon sa issue kay former President Marcos Sr. na itatapon sa West Philippines? Isa ka to sa mga nagiging point of contention. Doon din nagre-react doon din nagre-react yung kapamilya, mga kamag-anak ni President Marcos Jr. Sa issue. At mga ganyang parang nagiging personala na ang bangayan, ma'am. Anong tingin niyo dyan?
Well, hindi. Totoo naman po kasi na binanggit niya ito kay Senator Amy, but it was out of frustration. Kasi kahit noon, masama na yung dating sa kanya, inaapi siya, ganito, no? She was told early in the Marcos administration na kung anong kailangan niya, bibigay sa kanya. Kasi nga, out of gratitude to her participation in the elections, that was, kumbaga, was the factor in allowing the Marcoses to win, to allow the president to win. So basically, parang ang sinasabi no ni PBBM sa kanya, anong kailangan mo? Partners tayo dito, I will make sure you get what you need. So nung umpisa, it was little things like the use of the plane. Okay lang yan, she can roll with the punches, hindi talaga kaya, o di sige. Hindi talaga feasible, hindi, ganyan. But then, dahan-dahan na. Sino ba ang nag-allow ng kanyang confidential fund in 2022? It was the Office of the President. Sila po yung nag-release. And actually, ang duty mag-liquidate niyan is the OP. Kasi original release, yun po ang mag-explain sa COA kung ano yung pinagkagastusan niya. At certification yan that it will be released to the Office of the Vice President. At ang tanong lang is kung may character pa ng public funds yan. So medyo complicated na issue yan. At any rate, bakit ang Vice President ang pinagtuunan ng pansin at kinwestiyon at ang daming innuendo about where she had spent that money? So, and then it became increasingly difficult for her. Explain siya ng explain sa iba't ibang mga, sa iba't ibang committees sa Kongreso. Explain siya ng explain where the money went until umabot dun sa punto na she even refused na lang to spend it, even if she was given that amount. So, ito yung tanong. If she was being supported by the Marcos administration, bakit walang tulong from Congress? Bakit wala man lang, even in fact, in 2023, when she was fighting for her budget in 2024, it was the Office of the President na nagsabi na, ito, ganito yung ginawa niyan sa confidential funds and so on. Sila pa po ang naglaglag kay VP during the budget hearings. I don't know if you remember what happened doon sa nung panahon na yon. So, ang niyan is, she now is calling for a reckoning. So, tinulungan ko kayo, ito yung sinukli ninyo sa amin. And you weren't even honest enough to tell me to my face na, sige, hindi na tayo magkakampi ha. Ganon. Instead, they put her through the ringer. Nangako ng ganito, ang daming pinangako sa kanya, and then dahan-dahan, she began to realize na hindi pala sila magkakampi at naggamit siya ng lubusan dito. So, kumbaga, bakit sila magugulat na ganito ang retorika na ginagamit niya? Bakit sila magagalit when the expression here, the only way I can describe this is to call it rage. Kasi yun nga without her, alam niyo ba na nung nangangampanya sila sa Davao, dapat ang mga supporters doon, you would have seen a sea of green. Instead, she asked her own supporters, her own followers, to wear the colors of the Marcos side. Red. Pinagsuot niya ng red sarili niyang mga followers para magmukhang Davao City supports the Marcoses. So ganun katindi yung kanyang suporta dito sa mga to. And this, the past 2 years have been nothing less than a continuing act of betrayal. And so in order to express yung feeling of betrayal niya, yun ang ginamit niya. Yung paghuhukay, but like she said, and tama ito, there's a difference between talking about something and actually doing it. So sinabi pa nga ni Secretary Boying, that's desecration of the dead. As if that's a crime. Unang-una, wala po yan sa revised penal code. Okay? Ano yung nasa revised penal code? Libel, to blacken the memory of one who is dead, and 2, disrespect for the dead. But again, these talks, while libel is about speech, yung disrespect for the dead is an act. While she talked about possibly disrespecting the dead, what did she do? Nothing. She talked about it. Kumbaga, you can punish an act, but you cannot punish the speech. So, ayan, yan yung dyan. Yung kumbaga, she was very, very angry and she used rhetoric that was also descriptive of her rage. Okay? Yung ganun ka, this is how angry I am. Yun yung expression dito. Pero to equate it with a crime, that's a stretch. Dapat, instead na sabihin na, she shouldn't have said that, she shouldn't have done that, intindihan nilang nila that, well, she was angry. They should understand that anger.
Ma'am, at tingin po ninyo, marami pang mga bala maraming baon na mga pasabog ang bise. Dahil in the past, mga sinabi niya, lalo na yung mga pagpapaliwanag sa budget, talagang kung ano sinabi niya, back up with video at may evidence. Yung mga kwento nga niya doon sa, di ba, yung nag-attend sila ng graduation rites, kinumpirma ng AFP na nangyari nga yung mga yon. Nakita ko yung chat, kanina ni Cathy Binag. Sabi niya sabi ni Miss Cathy Binag, malay nyo, na kay VP Sara na ang mga video, yung mga ganong insidente, ma'am, kasi painit ng painit yung yung usapan.
Yes, maraming baon. Alam ko nag-hold back pa siya kasi maliwanag naman sinasabi niya, 'di ba? O marami na kayong material. Ibig sabihin sa next round na lang yung iba. So kung may next round, ibig sabihin meron pang lalabas at lalabas diyan. So she talked about 5 grounds for impeachment, hindi pa niya pinag-uusapan niya. Nakareserva pa. Meron pa siyang the first lady is another story. Meron pa siyang sa susunod na yung kay Martin. So there's at least 3 more sessions that we can actually look forward to, 'di ba? Ang maganda niyan is kung gusto ng mga ng mga kongresista o yung mga miyembro ng administrasyong Marcos ng escalation ay handa po siya. And ang tingin ko niyan, it's not only 3 because these are the ones that she has made public. Ano pa yung the ones she has not made public? Paano yung mga yon? So, I'm looking forward to that.
Attorney, sumagot po yung mga young guns at sabi nila handa naman sila. No, sila yung unang nagsabi na hindi stable mental health ng pangalawang pangulo, tapos hinamon sila ng pangalawang pangulo na magpa-drug test, magpapa-neuropsychiatric test ang pangalawang pangulo. Sumagot naman dito yung isa sa mga young guns na wala daw problema, itong si La Union na Congressman Ortega. Pwede silang sumailalim daw sa drug test at neuropsychiatric test. Pero meron ulit silang hamon. Dapat dumalo or tumistigo din daw si VP Sara sa House Blue Ribbon Committee na nagsasagawa ng investigasyon sa umano'y maling paggamit ng pondo sa DepEd at OVP. Ano masasabi niyo rito?
So, aminado sila that they have to threaten her in order to get her to Congress. Ganun ba yon? Ito yung problema ng mga kongresista eh. They speak first, think later. Kasi tingnan mo, sige, may counter hamon sila. Sige, basta pumunta ka. Ibig sabihin, they can't get her there to Congress. There is no other legal means of compelling her to attend. At alam nila na pag uma-attend naman din si VP Inday, they only get frustrated because they can't get anything out of her. My guess is they had forgotten just how difficult she can be. At sila dyan yung kawawa. So, para sa akin, it's also getting pettier and pettier. Because, kumbaga, teka muna, hindi ba mahalaga itong mga hearings na ito? So, you're going to reduce this to a debt or a dare. Parang, sige, gawin mo to. Kailangan may bayad sila kay VP Inday. Sige, magpapadrug test kami on the condition na dadating ka. So, yun? May bayad yung kanilang mga resource persons para dumating. It only admits of their weakness. It only admits of the lack of legitimacy that they can, to get the vice president there. Because what are they going to do? Hahampasin lang siya ng hahampasin using innuendo and using what? The same things that they'd already used, COA and so on. Not only that, they forget na nakikita din namin, confidential funds po ang kinikilatis nila and may have some implications on national security. They're not thinking. The congressmen are not thinking. And for me, sige, pag nangyari yan at nakuha ninyo yung hamon ninyo, tingnan natin kung sino sa atin ang iiyak. Baka kayo.
Opo, at tinanong din po si Bongbong Marcos kaugnay nga po dito sa naging pahayag ng Pangalawang Pangulo na hindi bagay o hindi naging mabuti, magaling na Pangulo, nagampanan ang trabaho at mahaba po ang silence. Ibig sabihin wala pong sinagot ang Pangulo ukol dito nung tinanong din siya ng media. Maganda ba itong move na para hindi pa na lumaki ang issue or pagkakataon yun or meron naman siyang mga tagapagsalita? Kasi marami.
After the long silence, nakapagsalita ba siya?
Wala tayong napanood, narinig. Kasi papalapit na siya sa media nung tinanong siya, tapos lumayo siya.
He avoided it. So, right after the press conference ng Vice President, may order coming from officially it came from Secretary Cesar Chavez that any member of the executive must not react. Do not react. That was the do not react order. Pero eventually hindi rin po yun nasunod at ang unang nagpa-press conference pa ay ang kalihim ng hustisya si Secretary Remulla, where the infamous aralin namin kung may krimen dito, kung may kaso ito, came out, di ba? So after that, ayan na, meron ng kung sino-sino na from the executive and of course the congressman. Pero suspiciously quiet is the person himself. Vice President ang nagsalita. Pero ang presidente has, kumbaga, judiciously and studiously avoided answering. This is standard. Normally, pagka ganyang ka-controversial yung pinakukomento sa kanya, he avoids it. And we know, actually, it makes sense kasi, di ba, open mouth, insert foot, mamaya, kung hindi ka handa kung anong masabi mo. And marami pong instances na nangyari ito na hindi handa ang Pangulo, napasalita siya at lumalim pa. In addition to which, may instances din naman na handa naman siya pero nabubulilyaso pa rin. Nakalimutan na ba natin yung 5,500 flood control projects na iniyabang pa niya and it kind of blew up in his face. So, yung hindi niya pagsagot means one of two things lang. He cannot answer or he doesn't want to answer or it is possible that it is both. He's not going to hazard an answer. Bakit? Vice Presidente po magre-react. And he might not be able to take the heat from the answer of the Vice President. For me, this is the most plausible. He's avoiding it para hindi siya ang tamaan ni Vice Presidente. After all, she did say na, kumbaga, hindi niyo ako tinigilan eh. Parang sinasabi niya na nanahimik siya and then they came after her. And so she reacted. And it is going to be expected that if the President says something, the Vice President is going to react. And it's very dangerous because she does know a lot of things and she does have all that experience in interacting with the President. Mamaya kung ano ang lumabas dyan. So he's not going to hazard trying to answer that. Instead, he will let his minions fight his battles for him. While it is, kumbaga, naintindihan ko na gusto no talk, less mistake, no talk, no mistake ang ginagawa niya. Pero letting your people answer for you, medyo weak yun. And so you have to balance. Ano ba, sasagot ba ako? At some point, dapat sumagot siya. Craft a statement, do something. Pero knowing the President and his habits in direct confrontation, he prefers not to confront the problem. So he will avoid it. And the Vice President will get the last say.
Opo, at speaking of last say, marami pang mga baong resibo kasi meron pa siyang nabanggit doon sa mga figures, di ba? Doon sa mismong survey. Kasi maraming tanong doon kung tatakbo ba si nawala si Pangalawang Pangulo, mananalo ba siya? Sino bang may mataas na na boto kumbaga sa survey, marami kayo nakikita niya. And at the same time, meron din siyang baon-baon na mga issue patungkol dito kay Speaker na sabi niya nakakahiya sa buong mundo. Tapos meron din doon kay Lam, possible na after ng nitong tawag nito November 1 or itong All Saints and All Souls Day magkakaroon ulit. So kumbaga paghahandaan din ito ng mga nabanggit na mga individual at syempre nung kanila mga tagapagsalita din, attorney, at may daladalang resibo yan, ha?
And she has time. Diba? Hindi na siya DepEd Secretary so she has time for this. So ang inaano nga niya is she wants the people to demand that the government officials do their job. Which is a good thing. Kasi ang mangyayari dito sa sagutan, look, she has time because the Vice President essentially, di ba, is just, her primary duty is to wait for the President to be declared to be incompetent. Kumbaga, unable to dispense his functions. But in the meantime, anything she does is a bonus. And so kung iikot siya, dadalaw siya, marami siyang kakausapin, then it can only work in her favor. She's popular and she can continue to become popular. In the meantime, the others, they're forsaking their duties. Congressmen have the duty to create laws, to review the laws. They have oversight functions. They can conduct inquiries in aid of legislation, etc. They have work to do. The executive, they have other functions to do. The vice president, she has more time. So what if during the period where the other side is waiting to or wants to answer her back, gusto siyang i-barrage ng kung ano-anong mga paratang, kung ano-anong akusasyon o innuendo about her character or about the things that she has done, the vice president has more time. So ako, if I were them, I would be very, very careful because she has nothing to lose. There are very little controversies that you can dig up to use against her. And she has time. She has time to study the problem. She has time to study the people who are doing this to her. She has resources to, she can tap into certain resources in order to be able to fight back. This is not going to help the Filipino people. She would like to remind that of us. But she has the upper hand.
Pati yung pagpunta niya sa Baclaran, pagbili ng street food, ginawa pang mali siya na binigyan ng emphasis ng pangalawang Pangulo na ito'y kanyang ginagawa na kahit doon sa Davao City at minsan nga hindi na siya pinapansin kasi nga always naman siya, parang cowgirl nga yan si Vice President Inday Sara. Pero yung mga pumupukol sa kanyang pagpuna, parang hindi talaga nila kilala ang pangalawang Pangulo. At babalik para magre-recose ulit yung kanilang mga akusasyon dito kay VP Sara.
It also says a lot about them. Dun sa mga nagsasalita. Mas indicative, yung mga sinasabi nila, parang mas nakikita natin yung character ng nagtatanong ng ganon. Si VP Inday matagal na niyang ginagawa. Kahit mayor, kahit hindi mayor, whatever it was, namamalengke talaga yan. Nagpupunta talaga yan sa tindahan. Siya mismo ang bumibili. I think na tayo, mga ordinaryong mamamayan, we do that. And she considers herself as one of us. So itong mga nagtatanong, maliwanag na hindi sila naggaganyan. Pumupunta lang sila sa mga lugar na ganyan pag nangangampanya, pero on ordinary days, hindi po sila. They have people to do that for them. They have money, they stay in their air-conditioned homes or offices, palautos yung mga yan, and possibly, if they can avoid it, hindi sila papasok sa palengke. Hindi sila makikigulo sa mga ordinaryong mamamayan unless they're surrounded by their security. So, what does that say? It says that the VP is a person of the masses, while kayong mga nagki-question, halatang halata kayo na hindi kayo naggaganyan. Sino ngayon ang maganda ang image? Kayo nga, binabatikos ninyo si VP Inday for doing something that she normally does because you don't normally do that.
Ma'am, ano po epekto nito sa 2025 lineup ng administrasyon? Itong world war between the administration with the lone woman, Vice President Sara Duterte.
Oh, di ba? All-comers. Taking on all-comers si VP. I think one of the most affected will be Senator Amy. Kasi nagitna siya sa dalawang salpukan dito. And ang masama niyan yung kwento, no? Sinabi ni VP Inday dito sa ambush interview niya na she sent a text message to Senator Amy after her press conference at very cold yung response sa kanya ni Senator Amy. So parang through a third party, a common friend, sinabihan daw siya na galit daw si Senator Amy sa kanya at saka kay PBBM. Pero ang sagot naman ni VP Inday, sabihin nyo kay Sen Amy, wag sa amin ni PBBM magalit. Doon siya magalit kay Lisa at saka kay Martin. Medyo mabigat kasi ano ba tawag doon? Pregnant with implications yung mga sinabi niya. But it also indicates one other thing. It emphasizes the position of Senator Amy. Nasa gitna siya and she has refused to take sides. Ngayon, kung ordinaryong magkakaibigan to, magbabarkada, then refusing to take sides is a good thing. Pero pagdating na dito sa public service, sa larangan ng politika, Ang sinasabi ng VP is there are serious issues about the Marcos administration, particularly legality, issues of corruption, negligence of their own duties to take care of the people. And kumbaga, if Senator Amy doesn't take a stand, either sabihin niya na hindi totoo yung sinasabi ng mga tao about corruption in her brother's government, or admit na mayroong ganitong problema and be part of the solution. Pero yung kanyang neutrality hindi na nag-work. So na-emphasize lang ito dun sa nangyayari dito, dun sa kay VP at saka kay Presidente BBM. Senator Amy is on the losing end. Tignan niyo yung showing niya sa mga surveys. Wala siya sa top 12, which is unusual for a Marcos in a Marcos administration. Kung totoong popular ang administrasyon na ito, no-brainer yan. Senator Amy would be in the top 5. But she's not. Kumbaga, hingalo. She ought to do something because taking her neutrality isn't doing her any favors.